What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Wisco Madman coming at you. This time I want to review the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. So far I've made it through day 1. I'm beginning day 2 today. I hope to move through these videos a little bit quicker as time moves on here. I've been a little bit busy with the personal life, but the opening statements for Kyle Rittenhouse. Basically, the prosecution has focused its entire opening statement on trying to make the people that Kyle shot sound like victims. Of course he would. That's his job, is to get justice, and people fall for guilt all the time. Obviously, the media has been running away with, down further into Kyle's testimony and saying that it was fake crying and whatever. But from my own personal view so far, we're trying to play on the emotions of the jury. He says that he shot Joseph Rosenbaum in the back, then he fled the scene without offering any aid, and the news slowly spread, or quickly spread, whichever, that there was an active shooter in the area. People, started trying to stop him because, God forbid somebody defend themselves. And then, of course, when you go to try to take somebody's gun, more people get shot. You don't try to take somebody's gun. I don't care if you're in the right or not. You're going to lose. That's pretty much how that works. Anybody who is well-trained, who knows what the fuck they're doing, which I'm not saying Kyle does, but how do you know? You never know. I'm not going to try to take somebody's gun. I'm not that dumb. So then Anthony Huber swung at Kyle with his skateboard. An unknown individual attempts to kick Kyle in the face. I don't know about you, but if somebody's got their foot coming to my face, a full-on drop kick, I'm going to call that lethal force. Yeah, that's threatening my life. So yeah, you're going to get shot. He did not end up shooting this individual. He tried. Apparently 2 shots fired, missed both. Obviously because in the process, this guy's basically going over the top of them, kicking him. Anybody can talk all the shit they want, but when you're in the heat of the moment, it's pretty hard to aim. So, Anthony Huber attempted to take Kyle's gun. He comes all, like this, like he's acting like he's not gonna do anything, and I mean well, and then he goes to try to take his gun. Yeah, you're gonna get shot. That's just how it works. Defense opens up with their statement, and the defense starts introducing all the evidence. I shouldn't say introducing the evidence necessarily, admitting it or whatever, but talking about the sorts of evidence that he's going to show. He speaks on how Joseph Rosenbaum is recently out of a mental hospital. This, by the way, did not get to go in front of the jury. This was a discussion between the defense and the prosecutor in front of the judge, and basically the prosecutor said that Joseph Rosenbaum's mental health was irrelevant to the case. Irrelevant to the case? What the fuck are you talking about? If I have to defend myself, the person who's trying to attack me, their mental health is very fucking relevant. Period. So, the prosecutor tried to hide it. As of right now, the judge deemed it unnecessary to introduce that it was a mental hospital, not just a hospital. Mind you, he did allow the prosecutor to talk about why he had the clear bag, that he just came out of a hospital, not a mental hospital. Keep it, I'll introduce a little bit, but not all of it. I don't like that. I mean, I never have. Full facts or nothing. That's just how it should be. So, Kyle also is around Kenosha and in Kenosha a lot. Kyle's dad lives in Kenosha, so obviously Kyle's lived there as well. I would assume he's visiting his dad and whatnot. being a kid of divorced parents, I can say that you tend to spend time with both parents. Then you look into Kyle's place of work. He's a part-time lifeguard at the Kenosha Recplex. So there again, he spends more time in Kenosha. Dominick Black, who was the friend, buddy, best friend, whatever you want to call him, that he was hanging out with. The reason he's friends with him is because Dominick was dating his sister. So they also hang out in Kenosha quite frequently. You get the picture that he spends an awful lot of time in Kenosha. Also, let's add to that, he crossed state lines. Yeah, so what? Antioch, Illinois is literally on the border. He is 20 miles away from Kenosha. He didn't go all that far. And if you've ever been in the Milwaukee to Chicago area, you know. I'm originally from Wisconsin, by the way, so I know this as well. Milwaukee, Chicago, they basically start to blend together. There's a little bit of country in between, but not a whole hell of a lot. And Antioch is one of those more country towns, if I remember correctly. It's not quite on my direct drive south to Chicago. It's a little to the west, but it's literally right on the border, 20 miles away, half-hour drive. It's similar to me driving from Wisconsin Rapids, where I grew up, to, say, Stevens Point or north side of Stevens Point. It's not that far. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. I do drives like that here in Denver all the time. Actually, a lot more than that most of the time. Pretty much everything I do is a minimum of a 20-minute drive. It's not like I'm just going next door for most shit. I usually go downtown. I'll go practice jits down in the other town next door to me. I go from Westminster to Broomfield. If you live in city areas, long travel is common. So now we move on to the last bit of what came on day one. We're moving into bringing Dominick Black as a witness. The prosecution calls in Dominick Black. They speak to him. Most of what he talks about, to me, is fairly irrelevant. It kind of paints a picture of what's going on. It paints a picture of, how Kyle got the gun, how he wasn't actually allowed to have said gun because he was 17 years old. He cannot, in the state of Wisconsin or the state of Illinois, buy a rifle. That's just how it is. An adult has to buy it for him. So he gave the money to Dominick. Dominick bought it. Mind you, it was not Kyle's gun at the time. He's 17. He cannot legally own a gun. It was Dominick's gun, who kept it in his stepfather's gun safe at the house. Amongst all this, yes, they were defending businesses, and yes, the gun was more or less given to him. Obviously, Dominick avoids saying things like that because he's his friend. He doesn't want to incriminate his friend. But at some point, the gun was taken out of the safe. At some point, Kyle picks up said gun and brings it with him to go downtown with Dominick, with one of their other friends. Like, in the court of law, he didn't want to say, I gave him the gun, because obviously then you get yourself other charges. So you see where that's going. Kyle's attorney also, on crossing Dominick, acknowledges when he holds up the gun, he holds the gun vertically like this, so it's not pointing at anybody, it's not loaded, it's nothing. He does not flag a single person when he lifts up the gun. So this is relevant. Keep this in mind in case you're following me through this whole case. That's a key fact, because I seen photos further on when I believe he's talking to Kyle or somebody, where the prosecutor literally holds it and flags like half the courtroom. So, yeah, we're not going to get into that too much right now, but obviously it's not okay to flag people in the courtroom, and the defense attorney for Kyle acknowledges that. It doesn't matter loaded or not, it doesn't matter what you're trying to explain, unless you have a dummy gun, you do not flag people. You don't, in a courtroom, in a freaking state building. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Anyway, so before I get into that too much, this has been your boy Wisco Madman. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me for the rest of this case. I will be reviewing every single day of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and I will give you my insight on it, and I will give you what I see in the trial without bias. Yes, there are parts that are going to point against what I believe. My bias is I think Kyle's innocent. I think self-defense was warranted. You can go and argue into the age stuff and everything else, but know that as my bias, and then understand that even though that's my bias, I will present anything that helps the prosecution side if I believe that helps them. So, catch me on the next one, y'all. Peace.